Hello and welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm Cecilia Mogbe in Lagos.
For the greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us. In London, I'm Austin Okonakwan. Cecilia, you know I love Fridays where I say, thank God it's Friday and we're going to get into a weekend of sporting action. But right here in England, Cecilia, no comedian cannot understand how complain on the other.
I'm trying to hear you. I understand what you're talking about in England, what's currently going on. The fact that Arsenal, who were chasing Liverpool at the beginning of the season for the title, will end up having to form a guard of honor when they play them this weekend. So it's all of football. That's what football does to you. You think at the beginning of the season you have it all wrapped up, but somehow it doesn't always end like that. But this is what the show looks like tonight. We'll be talking about the NWFL. That's the Super 6 starting just tomorrow. So this weekend is loaded with lots and lots and lots and lots of football. We would have been talking about athletics, the World Relays Championship in China, but Nigeria would definitely not be a part of it. So that's why that is not on the menu tonight, simply because visa delays, and later they got the visa. But then, at the time the visa arrived, which was yesterday, they couldn't now travel to the World Relays in China. So AFN, they pulled out. So all the athletes, 9 of them, both the ones in the US, 12, 9 in the US and 3 across the world, they would not be a part of that. But then we'll talk football and football lots on the show tonight. NPFL will also get our attention tonight on the show, match day 37. So it's wrapping up, and those team gunning for continental tickets will get our attention tonight. And of course, the English Premier League that Austin mentioned earlier, that would definitely be a focus. Liverpool and Arsenal, and of course Manchester City, trying to see how they can get that finish in top 4. I mean, we know the Champions League ticket, 6 teams from England. It's still not certain if all the teams gunning for it, but Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Manchester City, Chelsea can still get it. So they are all trying to finish as many points as they can to get into the continent, Europe next season. Also on the show tonight, the quarterfinals is all complete for the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations. Yesterday we talked about the fact that Nigeria facing Senegal on Monday. The Yavoda concluded, so we will be talking about that on the show tonight. Of course, a Clasico, the final one for Carlo Ancelotti. End of an era, you would say, because Xabi Alonso will be taking over. The old is leaving and the new is coming. The way Ancelotti was able to carry Real Madrid, that was more like kind of down at the time he arrived, he was able to win. How many trophies he has won for them? 15 in all in his 2 terms that he was there as a coach. The first term, and of course returning for the second time, the most by any coach in the history of the club. So he will be leaving to take over a national team, the Brazilian national team. It's an open secret for that. So all these will definitely get our attention today on the show. The Clasico, yes, that is part of it. And the fact that Xabi Alonso is leaving Leverkusen to Real Madrid. So we'll be starting with the NWFL tonight on the show. But before that, we have a guest in the studio. I'll just welcome him before we delve into NWFL, James Olumide Akombi. It's great to have you join us on the show tonight.
Yeah, good evening, Cecilia. It's good to be here again on Sports Tonight.
Thank you. All right, NWFL, yes, that is what is getting our attention tonight, the Super 6. Austin, I don't know if our guests are ready. We have them right there in Ikene, where they are getting ready to start the Super 6. The draw was done earlier today, and you having champions Edo Queens beginning their campaign against the host states. Host a club, talking about Raymond Ladies. They will be up against Edo Queens in one of the matches that will be played on the opening day. And of course, the big match starting is obviously Nasarawa Amazons and Niger Rotters. Niger Rotters welcoming them into the Super 6. So they're rubbing shoulders now with the big ladies when it comes to the NPFL. You also have Bayelsa Queens and Rivers Angels. So these are the games that are starting it off in NWFL. Okay, I'll just run through the fixtures for you. There you have it, Niger Rotters and Nasarawa Amazons, Bayelsa Queens and Rivers Angels. You have Edo Queens and Remo Stars Ladies. So that's match day 1 for the Nigerian Women's Football League Premiership Super 6 right there in Ikenne in Ogun State. Austin?
Yep, I love it, Cecilia. It shows we're ready. Some of the big teams actually found a way to, make it to the Super 6. I like the fact that Niger Rattles, somehow passed through that back door, to make their presence felt. But let's get into the conversation. One team that everyone is talking about, can they go on to retain their title, is Edo Queen. The coach joins us live on the show. Good evening, Coach. Welcome to Sports Tonight. Coach, you need to unmute. I can see you. You need to unmute so I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah. Good evening, Ogun. Good evening.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Well done. Good job. You're doing with Edo Queens. The Super 6 is here. What should we be expecting from your team?
Yeah, well, business as usual. We are not new in the competition. Since I joined Edo Queens, we've been qualifying for the Super 6. And my first season was not too good, but the second one we won. And this is the third one. We want to see how we can play every game and try to retain the title. We came here with a full force to see how we can retain the title.
Coach Azuku, you are defending champions. You are the team to beat. Does that put any pressure on the team?
We are not under pressure because even during the regular season, we played with Remo at home there in Ikenne, and we defeated them. They will be under pressure much because my guys are good, everybody's fit and ready to go. So 90 minutes decide.
We'll see. 90 minutes decide. Cecilia, I'll let you bring in Samuel Amadu into the conversation. It's all about the Super 6, and I can see that everyone back there in Nigeria are pumped up for this one.
I mean, it's a big one for the past seasons that we've started the Super 6. It's always been an interesting, more like a festival of football, you will call it. 6 teams battling up to see if they can pick that sole ticket to go to the regional before going to see if they can represent the country at the CAF Champions League. That's the incentive, and of course, some of the other largest that come with are playing in the Super 6. Samuel Amedu is the media director of Nigeria Women's Football League. He will be joining us now from... Sam, where are you right now? Ikenne or Abuja? Okay, I think... okay.
Sam, we can't hear you. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Austin. Thank you, Cecilia. I'm live from Ikenne, and definitely this is where Nigeria is right now in terms of football. And this is currently the base where the biggest competition in the country is at.
Interesting. I mean, what's it like over there? All the teams, I know definitely they're ready. The draws was done today. Do we have any distractions, maybe any things to cheer about? And this Super 6, what's different from what we had last season?
I think the ambience is different. I think for the first time we're having a very incredible atmosphere here in Kenya, especially when you're seeing a private sector host, and surely previously we've seen probably independent or state organized competitions, but this time we're seeing Ikenne, through the host team, that is Remo Stars, been looking at the opportunity of showcasing the stadium, showcasing the environment of Ikenne, which is also just a stone throw from Ijebu, which has also been more or less, we know Ogun State is home of women's football, being the inaugural host of the finals of the African Women's Championship in 1998. And now they hosted the championship back in 2021 when it was changed to Super 6. And right now, Ikenne, just a stone throw from Ijebode, also now becoming host. And like you know, Ijebode has been a welcoming atmosphere to, Kenya has been a welcoming atmosphere to the national team, the Super Falcons playing against Algeria, the under-17 teams playing against South Africa, playing against Algeria as well. So it's been an incredible atmosphere. The engagement is electric. The media presence definitely is something we want to really interact with. And I can tell you for free that we're excited about the prospect of getting involved in such a major competition. And this is it. Everyone is here. This is an event that is definitely going to be broadcast live, also on sister channels. And we have a production crew, a production partner in 3 productions. And honestly, we can't wait to showcase to the world some of the best stars from Nigeria, which has also created a very interesting story during the regular season. This is it. This is the pinnacle of it, and I think we are just anxious to see. Everything is set. You know, everyone is just ready to get to see how this gets started.
Yeah, interesting. You mentioned stars. I was going to go there. Who are the stars we need to watch out for? Because I remember the last 2021 years, Chiamaka Nnadozie, when Rivers Angels won the trophy, the last time they won, Chiamaka Nnadozie, I mean, she was the star of the show. From there, she went straight to France. Monday Gift, of course, another star with Bayelsa Queens when they won. She scored about 9 goals, right? In that Super Six. That was another moment for us to really cheer. And of course, last year, we're talking about MMSN of Edo Queens, who were mentioned the MVP. Who are the stars we need to watch out for this season in Super Six?
Yeah, well, honestly, it would be a bit unkind if I want to reduce it to a team nomination, because one, we definitely know from a team like Bayelsa Queens, we have quite a number of talented players. We have Brian Simon, who is much like the highest scoring player in the team. We also have quality legs like Jennifer Olivia in that team, who has been very consistent. We also have Blessing in the media, who also starred at the Champions League, the captain of the team, who is also probably the only married player in the Bayelsa team, or even the NWFL Premiership at the moment. And she's leading the team and also going all the way to greater balls at the Champions level is a great inspiration to the league. And when you look at things like Edo Queens, you talk about MMSN, you talk about Goodness Usigwe, who is coming up, and she has continued to put herself in the spotlight, even though she has turned 18 now and definitely already putting herself in a very strong position to also contesting for a place in the Super Falcons team. And you see how well she was impressive in those games against Algeria, and definitely keen to at least maintain that tempo and at least carry the team, having scored the highest number of goals in the league season for Edo Queens, to also go further to ensure that, yes, she cements her place and also potentially bring the title still back to Edo Queens. So we have MSN, we have Goodness Usigwe in that team. For a team like Niger Rattles, we have Grace Salu. She's an impressive factor in the squad of Niger Rattles. We also have Bankole Sophia, who is potentially the highest goal scorer in also that team. Bankole Sophia has been incredible. She joined the team from Dream Star Ladies in Lagos in 2021. She has been an incredible star. And for the team who has players who have led that team, the Agama who has led that team, now she has the opportunity to come to the fore and also display the quality in her. So we have quite a number of talented players coming on. Rivers Angels, we have one of the leading scorer of the team, which is Mary Moses. She's been impressive so far this season, scoring one of the hat-trick scorer, if not 2-time hat-trick scorer. And, these girls have been creating levels. And, this season for me, it's just quite unique. As much as we know, we have so much players living out of the country, going out of the country to various leagues abroad, we still keep having players that will corner goals. Over 279 goals scored in the course of the season, more than 8 different scorers of hat-trick, and 10 hat-tricks scored during the season. Honestly, it's an incredible. In 14 games, it's an incredible number for teams like Remo Stars, which is the last, but not the least. Despite being debutant, they are one team that has the most lethal attack in the league currently, with the likes of Bolaji, Olamide with 14 goals. And also Kafayat Bashiru with 8 goals. 2 players together scoring 22 goals more than half of the goals of
The team.
of the team. So it's an incredible feat. And when you see these things, you know that, well, they strengthen the attack and they've exploited this perfectly to their own advantage to ensure that, yes, they get to this stage. So, but for me, it's somehow difficult to say how much these 6 teams are the match, ignoring impressive teams like Robo Queens, who were our highest goal scoring side in the course of the league season, with over 30 goals, and they couldn't qualify. This speaks volume about the quality of competition in the league and how impressive it is.
Cecilia, if Sam is going to just use our entire show to talk about this Super Six. So Sam, we really understand everything you're talking about. I'm sure Cecilia will wrap up with you. But let me go to Coach Moses Ajuku.
Yeah.
You know, Coach, I saw you smiling when Sam was telling us some of the firepower in your team. I'm sure you heard him say there's not much for you to do. But your opening game is against a very decent team, Remo Stars ladies. And I'm sure you watched them. So you tell me in 2 ways, last season and this season, did we get more competitive, and how are you going to approach that Remo Stars ladies match?
Well, I think we are in the same group. We respect them because they have quality players also in that team. But experience in the league. They are still young in the league, so we are going to capitalize on that. You know, we are going to use our maturity in the league to press them. Firstly, I need to tell us that despite the fact that the competition is being hosted by them, hosting it does not mean anything to me, because I have used Bayelsa Queens to go to Edo when Edo hosted. I won the competition, and I used Edo to go to Bayelsa to win the competition. So if you are hosting, you are under serious pressure, and that's what they are going to face tomorrow. So we know them, they know us, but I think experience-wise, we are going to capitalize on that. So for last season, yes, the competition was very tough, but we took the games one after the other, and by His grace, we were able to win.
Awesome. I'll just ask you one last question, and then Cecilia will take it up from there. When you look at everything that has happened in the league, and you also listen to what Samuel Amadu talked about, are we making progress with women's football in Nigeria?
Honestly, if I must confess, we are, because the number of players that leaves the shore of this country to go outside, and we still have the level of football we are playing now. Definitely, for me, if you ask me to pick players from the local league to play the foreign base, I don't think the foreign base will just overrun them, because the players here, they are still meeting up. So I think the league is improving, and kudos to the organizers.
Okay, Coach, before we let you go, a quick one. Edo Queens had the most victories in the regular season, 11 wins out of 14 games. And of course, Remo Stars, I remember they were the ones who actually, halted your winning run when they got the points right there in Benin City. So for you now, I know you're defending champions, the pressure obviously on you to retain the title. What is your take and what is your target in this Super Six?
A trophy for one game at a time. A trophy for one game at a time. We have no other game to play apart from playing against Remo. And we are looking at it until after 90 minutes before we begin to talk about any other team. But the only thing we need to tell Remo is that we are not here for league games. We are here to play a cup final.
A cup final for every game. Thank you so much, Moses Ajuku, for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Wishing you all the best. Samuel, let's just wrap this up. We talked about, okay, we need to go on a break. So after this break, I'll ask you one last question before we let you go. So Samuel Akmando is still with us. So just ask him this one question before he leaves the show. So Samuel, what are the things you're expecting from this Super Six? Do we have a prize money? And if we do, so how much is it?
Well, at the moment, I don't have official words yet, confirmations about that. But again, I think based on what we have previously. It's definitely not going to be short of what we've had in the past, which is the 10 million for the winner and 5 million for the runner-up and 3 million for the third place finisher. So that could improve, but again, I'm still waiting for official words from my bosses to have. We definitely will put up official notice about this in coming days, at least before the close of the competition.
Okay, so I want to thank you so much for taking our time to join us on the show tonight. You know, the Super Six has started, so you always just be a regular on the show tonight, talk more about what's going on right there in Ikene. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a humbling opportunity. Thanks so much for having us, and also for doing this great deal of publicity to women's football and the young women's football league. It's very appreciative.
Thank you. Right, all the best to all the teams that are competing. So, James, let me quickly come to you. I mean, it's when you look at what's going on with the NWFL, we are always excited, you know, when Super Six starts, because you know you're going to see the very best of football. So, what are your thoughts, quickly?
Yeah, exciting thing they are doing. You look at last season, you look at this season. Obviously, there's an improvement. We listened to Coach Aduku, of course, Samuel. The quality of football played. I love what you see on the pitch. Maybe off the pitch, maybe they can do more. Okay. I know they have a massive social media presence, but I think that for women football in Nigeria, you go to the highest brand, which is the Super Falcons. That is a marketable brand coming from Super Falcons down to the league, and I think that's one thing that I don't think I've seen a lot of improvement this season. But you talk about quality of football, the structure, the organization, all of that is top-notch. And I can't wait for this to start. For me, personally, I think my team will be Nassau Amazons. Okay. I think that in the second stanza of the league, they amassed most points. And the quality of football played is something I can't describe. So I think it's a team that most people are not talking about. We're looking at the defending champions. We're looking at the host because of the home advantage. We're looking at the experience from...
Maybe rather because of Bolaji, 14 goals.
Well, yeah, but nobody is talking about the Amazons. But we'll wait and see how it goes.
Okay, we'll wait and see, fingers crossed, and see who is going to go home with that coveted trophy. Remember, Edo Queens, Bayelsa Queens, Rivers Angels are the previous winners. Nassau Amazons also, they've won it twice. Well, you have other newcomers, you know, the two new teams. We're going to see if for the first time since 1996, right, we're going to be having a privately owned club winning the NWFL title. All right, let's go straight to the CAF, talking about the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations taking place right there in Egypt. So these are the results for today. South Africa and Zambia, that game ended 1-1, and Egypt beating Tanzania by a lone goal. So these are the results for today, and that's why we have the quarterfinals set. The teams that will be playing the quarterfinals, all of them, we are ready for them. Senegal and Nigeria will start that campaign on Monday. That will be followed by Morocco and Sierra Leone. You have South Africa and DR Congo, and Ghana and Egypt. Now, these are the games you're going to be looking at. It's going to be so unfortunate that you're not going to be having either Ghana or Egypt, Nigeria or Senegal. One of these teams will definitely, two of these teams will be missing out in the semi-final. Wow, what a fixture. The quarterfinals fixture, Austin, is more like you're seeing something like a final in the quarterfinal fixtures. Talking about Ghana, Egypt, Nigeria, and Senegal.
And we said it the other day on the show. I said the Flying Eagles, we need to show workings. And for Senegal, their tournament is just starting because, as you know, they struggled in their first two games. And in the last game against DR Congo, they didn't have to show workings, and they did, winning down by 2-0. I like what I see with this tournament. I can see some level of developmental work going on with football in Africa. Ghana, Egypt is definitely one for us to talk about. Morocco shouldn't sleep on Sierra Leone because Sierra Leone actually bust that Group A, you know, if not for the last match that South Africa turned up big time, you know, to punish them 4-1. They might just stun Morocco because at this level, I always say it, we can always just go back and say, oh, Nigeria has won it 7 times. Oh, this country has participated a number of times, but no small teams at this level because the talent is raw.
Yeah.
So it is the amount of work that you have done on the team, that they will go out there to translate. So best wishes to all of the teams. We have our quarterfinalists now, and when you get to the semis, you start eyeing that to get to the World Cup. So all the best. Nigeria that against Senegal, Cecilia, I struggled to say where that one will go, but the Flying Eagles, they need to do more than what they did against Morocco and Tunisia. I think the game against Kenya was so determined to at least get a point or a win, and that was why they gave them that scare. And I'm glad they showed good character to come back to win it. But definitely for me, I want to see Nigeria versus Senegal.
I want to see that game. How great will it be if the 7-time champions will be able to take out the defending champions? It's all set, right, for Monday. That's more like is it like a final for me? I mean, Senegal, Nigeria.
I don't know who made draws.
Who did it? No, it's Nigeria finished second. If they had topped the group, they won't be here. They won't be facing Sierra Leone.
These are most of the fixtures here are finals. Nigeria, Senegal, the Ghana, Egypt. These are games that you want to see in the final.
Finals,
but, we want to stay with Nigeria and see. I have not been impressed.
With their performance, right?
Yeah, with their performance, and it worries me because you are playing a side that technically they are gifted. Development, when it comes to football development in Africa, talking about underage group, you also give it to them. What they have done under 20, under 17, you look at their national team, they are also high up there. So I think this is going to be a true test, character-wise, for our team, mentality. You have to really show us that you have won 7 times. You have to show us that you are not just there because by virtue of winning 7 times. You lose out on this, you're not going to the under-20 World Cup. So there's a lot to play for. So I want to see the character, how they will approach this game. And again, like I said, apart from the quality that you see with the Senegalese, this is also a physical side. So if we think that we are strong, we can muscle them like we did against Morocco, Tunisia, and of course, Kenya couldn't really match us, even though it was a tough game. You're really going to get a game against the Senegalese.
What a game.
I'll wait and see how that goes.
Fingers crossed. Austin said their tournament is just starting. Imagine a team who won just 1 game at the group stage. Same with Nigeria. Okay, fingers crossed right there. Right, let's talk about the Nigeria Premier Football League games for this weekend. Match day 37. So 37, and of course, Remo Stars hosting Ikorodu City. I know everyone wants to see the outcome of this game, but the thing is, Remo Stars are already champions, nothing to play for, but Ikorodu have a lot to play for because they are gunning for the continent. Abia Warriors hosting Economy Warriors. So these 2 warriors also, you have Abia Warriors also another team looking to get into the continent. Nasarawa United and Eimba will be in action. Kwara United and Rivers United. You have Rangers and Katsina United. Rangers, well, what are they fighting for? Just stay maybe top 10 because the season wasn't a good one at all. They didn't act like defending champions. Canopilas hosting Shooting Stars. Plateau United and Lobista. Lobista already relegated, nothing to play for. Benin Insurance and Heartland will also be in action. Aqua United and Bayelsa United. So Aqua United trying to see if they can avoid relegation this season. 2 more games. See what's going to happen at the end of match day 38. Sunshine Stars will be hosting Niger Tornadoes. So Austin, I know we talked about the NPFL yesterday. I didn't want to talk about some certain teams and everything, but there's some things you want to talk about this weekend, right?
You guys bant me a lot with this Aqua United situation. Don't worry.
I did not mention Aqua United. I said some things you don't want to talk about.
Even if they go down, I think they will come back again, Cecilia. But I know where you're going, so don't worry, I'll help you there. I want to talk about Remo Stars Ikorodu City, and I want to just put this out there that we are doing so much to promote league football in Nigeria. I hate it so bad when people find negativity in the small things that happen in the league. Oluwadamilare, I know, if our producer can just bring out that last Ikorodu City match against Bayelsa United, he made a very sincere mistake that any top goalkeeper from your Jan Sommer to your Gianluigi Donnarumma can make.
Wow.
And this small mistake that happens in the league, people will start shouting match fixing, people will start saying that, oh, betting this, but let's not do that to our own league football. As at match 35, before that match, Cecilia, Ikorodu City were fourth on the log. Bayelsa United, I think, were about 8th or 9th. So Ikorodu City needed that match. And that error happened when it was 1-0 for Ikorodu City. So why would someone who follows the league, they had scored their first goal, they were leading 1-0, defender, it was actually goalkeeper, I gave the ball to defender, defender returned to it, and he made, that's the mistake right there. He wanted to stop the ball.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we do our investigation, that pitch also, maybe something just, intercepted with it and he missed his control. That is what I'm always talking about, infrastructure development. Now, all over social media, people are letting the guy feel so bad. Look, fans, followers, players, they have their mental health to deal with. They make a mistake and then we come at them and make them feel like they are not humans. It's really unfair, and I thought I should put that out there because Remo Stars are already champions. They're going to play Ikorodu City. Something goes now, Cecilia, you know the rest of the story.
Of course. There's so many people who really don't follow the game. Like, if you watch games week in, week out, you watch the La Liga, you watch the Bundesliga, you watch the League, or you watch, in fact, if you even look, let's look at Onana, for instance. I'm not trying to banter here, but we've seen goalkeepers. Yeah, we've seen goalkeepers that we call them butterfingers. Yes. Like time they touch the ball, it slips out, they get into the net. So these are errors that happens to goalkeepers, and we've seen Alisson. I mean, there was one particular one, top goalkeepers and everything. So fans who are watching, I mean, you have to watch with an open mind and not everything that is match fixing. We need to protect this league. This belongs to us. Because we're seeing something beautiful. We saw what happened at the beginning of the season. Ikorodu City that were out and out. They fired their coach, brought in the assistant coach, and what happened? And they've been on their sentence. So some Meta Insurance also were thinking, they're going on relegation this season, how they were able to pick up in second stanza. So these are teams that we've seen how they can fight, and we call it the most competitive league in the world, because sometimes you don't even know who's going to win the league till the end of the season. But luckily this season, Remo Stars, they knew what they needed to do, and they just continued with it, going away from home, getting points, winning games, and that's why they are where they are today.
Yeah, I think that for Ikorodu City, let me start with Ikorodu City. First 5 games this season, they didn't get any points. It was 0.0 goals, nothing. And at the time, the conversation was, okay, maybe they'll just go back to the NNL. Yeah. And then look at it. Right now, they are 4th, and they are looking like a side that can make the continent. Yeah. Just get at least a point in the Kenya this weekend. And then you know the hopes are, because you're playing your direct challenger in the last game, and you can make that happen at home. So I think that you look at Nasarawa United, in the first stanza of the league, I already relegated them, that Nasarawa United is going down. But look at it now. If they can get a win in their last 2 games, they're safe. So, I mean, this is a league that you don't watch it a lot. So people are always out there to lash out. You look at the errors. You don't look at the positive things. Things like people talk about, oh, in the league you don't have good players. That's not true. If you watch the league, I see goals that I ask myself, you have players like this in the league. But people don't follow. If you don't follow it, you're not going to see it.
So that's why sometimes you don't even need to argue with them on social media. Just let them wallow in their ignorance. But then if you watch, you understand what we're talking about. Let's quickly go to the English Premier League. I know Austin will have a lot to talk about on this one, especially with those teams that are chasing the continental ticket in Europe. Fulham and Everton will be in action on Saturday. Ipswich Town and Brentford. You have Southampton and Manchester City. Haaland is returning. Haaland, 30 goals for Manchester City this season, and they tell you that they had a poor season. Wow, I know there are some clubs that want to be in this position. Wolverhampton and Brighton will also be in action. Bournemouth and Aston Villa, other games that you have for Saturday. Let's take a look at Sunday's fixtures. Newcastle hosting Chelsea. Manchester United hosting West Ham. Nottingham Forest and Leicester City. Leicester already relegated. Nottingham Forest trying to see if they can get to Europe. And Tottenham Hotspur and Crystal Palace. What are they playing for? Crystal Palace maybe trying to go, but not Tottenham, at least. No, they're not going to relegation. So they are Manchester United. They can keep losing to the end of the season. Liverpool and Arsenal, yes, this is the last game. Normally, could have been like, oh, a title decider, but nothing is happening, Austin, in this game. Just guard of honor. What does it feel like, you know, the team you were chasing at the beginning of the season is the team you now have a guard of honor for? Wow.
Football for you, you never say never. I was looking at the predictions from top coaches in the ex and current coaches. Nobody, the odds did not fall on Liverpool. Everyone was talking about Pep Guardiola's Man City and Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. They didn't look at Liverpool, and here we are. Arne Slot in his first season did the magic. But let's talk about Southampton, Manchester City. Manchester City, we will need to go out to win that. He's talked about Haaland, despite the injury, 30 goals, you know. It tells you about squad depth. It tells you about quality that they have in that team. They were just unfortunate this season. And now that they've seen that Arsenal isn't serious about finishing second, if City beats Southampton, Cecilia, they move up to 67 points with Arsenal. I think they will even take over.
Yes.
So Arsenal will now be under pressure to beat Liverpool at Anfield. And after receiving God of Honor, I don't think Liverpool want to lose that game to Arsenal. So Arsenal is a very difficult situation at the moment because I think they still have Newcastle to play in there. So Mikel Arteta needs to see that he's still upset about what happened with the Champions League exit. He should focus on the Premier League because it seems there's more to come. But let's listen to Pep Guardiola take reactions. The Southampton taking on Manchester City in the Premier League. James, when you take a look at Pep Guardiola and his team, they're trying to give it a strong finish. Do you think they can achieve that? And if they win the FA Cup, would you say it's a fairly good season for them?
By Manchester City's standard, you would say it's average. I don't think you want, with what they have done in the last 7 seasons, you will call it average. But again, when you look at it, a team that have lost 9 games this season, and they look like this weekend they can go second. If they win their game against Southampton, they are tied on point with Arsenal, and with a better goal difference, they will go second. So, again, maybe I'll cut them some slack because we know it's something about football. Football is something that comes in phases. This season has been a very bad season for them, but still they can win a trophy, win the FA Cup, and then you finish in the top 3. I know they will finish in top 3. So definitely, I'll just rate it average. Why? Because by Pep Guardiola and Manchester City's standard, you expect much more than just the FA Cup.
That's what happens when you're a champion. You know, when you're winning, when you're very successful, so any little dent, it becomes average or a failure. They're in the FA Cup final, May 17th. That's when against Crystal Palace, they'll also be having that. Southampton, 11 points so far this season. Wow. All right, let's take it. All right, see if they can use it as a fear for next season. Runner-up against Manchester City back-to-back twice and now. All right, Spanish La Liga, Austin, the El Clasico, it will be the final one for Carlo Ancelotti. End of an era.
I know, Cecilia, and that might just be good enough reason for, you know, Real Madrid to go out there and prove a point, because I think Barcelona has been doing a good one on them lately, and with the way everything, you know, happened in the UEFA Champions League, even in I think the Super Cup also, they will say, look, let's give Carlos something to remember. You know, the El Clasico definitely get us talking. Arguably the biggest football rivalry in the world. We'll wait to see what will come out of that one. Yes, that's about it for the show tonight in London. I'm Austin Okonakman. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
A loaded weekend of football. I mean, Austin's still smiling. All right, El Clasico. Yeah. With expectation, Real Madrid are hosting, so they want to have a better farewell for their coach leaving.
Take 4.
What?
I said it's take 4. They've met 3 times already.
Yeah.
It's 11-4 on aggregate.
Okay.
Barcelona, Madrid this season. So Madrid needs to win this game. You know why?
Yeah.
If you can cut down the lead into a point, Barcelona have more difficult games to still play.
Yeah.
They have Athletic Club, they have Villarreal, they have Espanyol. Now, for Villarreal and Athletic Club, They are fighting to play in Europe. They are 4th and 5th,
Yes.
respectively. Now, you look at Madrid, they have easy games. So if you can cut down that lead, I think we can see the title still go to Madrid.
Okay. I mean,
But
you
you
want
have
to
to
sign up
start
on
that job
You have to start
by winning
on
this
Sunday.
weekend. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Yeah, it's good to be here again. I'm Cecilia.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a good night's rest.